In this lecture, we will look at reducing digital noise. I have opened Girl Crop. I go to Filters, Google Nik Collection and choose Define To. I press the spacebar and drag to go to the top of the image. The program has already analyzed and denoised the noise in the image. It analyzed the noise by looking at a couple of low contrast areas. The program will show us where it looked, which is inside the white squares. Most of the time, this automatic noise reduction will give good results and you can click on Save. However, you have more control. You can, for example, create your own squares for the program to look at. To do this, behind Method, click on Automatic and choose Manual. Below, you can now click on the Add Rectangle button and drag over an area you want to be denoised. You can also move and adjust the size of the rectangles. On the top, I click on the Select tool. Now I can move and resize the rectangles. I can also delete rectangles by selecting one or more rectangles, by dragging over them or shift-clicking on them, and then press the Delete key. I click on Yes. To delete all rectangles, click on the Reset button. Because I have changed the rectangles, let's add a new one on the girl. The program needs to make a new profile and says the profile needs to be updated. To make a new profile from the new rectangles, I click on the Measure Noise button. Now let's look at the result. To zoom in and out, I select the Zoom tool at the top. My cursor has changed to a magnifying glass with a plus sign. If I click on the face, I will zoom in to 300%. By clicking on Preview, I can see the before and after. To zoom out again, I press the Alt key, which turns the magnifying glass to a minus sign. If I now click, I am back to 100%. And if I click once more, with the Alt key pressed down, I will see the whole image. I release the Alt key again and click twice at the girl's face to zoom in to 300%. I think the denoising is a little bit too strong on the face, but could be stronger for the background, because the background is out of focus and doesn't have detail. When I see the text Manual or Automatic Profile Applied, which is green text, I can adjust the result by clicking on the Reduce button. There are two methods I can use to adjust the result. I can either use control points or I can use color ranges. Let's have a look at color ranges. I click on the top color picker and then click on the cheek of the girl. I have now selected a skin tone. If I drag the contrast noise slider, we see I am only adjusting the skin and not the green of the background. So I can work very specifically and adjust only one color. If I go under 100%, I reduce the noise reduction from the profile, and if I go above 100%, I increase the applied noise reduction even more. Contrast noise reduces differences in value of the selected color. Color noise isn't noticeable as much, especially in JPEG images, due to the JPEG compression. Now I select the second color picker and click in the green. Now I can adjust the green. I will increase the noise reduction. If you want to adjust more than 3 color ranges, you can add more color ranges by clicking on the plus icon at the bottom. The other way of adjusting the profile is by using control points. The advantage of control points is that I can easily exclude areas from being denoised. By using minus control points, I can exclude the eyes and eyebrows. I click on the minus control point button and click on the eye. I decrease the area of influence. I click on the duplicate button and drag the duplicate to the other eye. When I hold down Alt, I duplicate the control point while I drag. I duplicate again for the other eyebrow. I want to increase the denoising for the shadow at the left eye, near the nose. I duplicate control point 1 and drag it on the shadow. On the control point, I will increase contrast noise. To deselect the control point, I click beside it on the canvas. I am still able to increase or decrease the overall noise reduction. To increase or decrease the overall noise reduction, I drag the main contrast noise slider. As we can see, I am not affecting her eyes and eyebrows. In the next lecture, we will look at sharpening an image with Sharpener Pro.